Okay, I'm back and I'm still doing just some cleanup work on some roughly spalled material that was from Davis Creek, California. Sometimes I like doing, sometimes it works good to do a side shot to get your bevel for your platform. Sometimes a side shot is the way to go. Depends on how everything's set up. And I'm lightening this material, but what I'm also trying to do is just make it take up less space when it's packed so that it's not taking up as much room. One of them weird little bulbs that's just twisted and turned and all kind of weirdness. That ought to be a pretty good blade. Don't think that thing wouldn't cut you. It's really interesting. I read up on glass and stuff a little bit when I started out, and apparently real glass just has no grain structure. It is kind of like a super cooled liquid or something that just happens to be solid because of the temperature here. But because of that, it's just beyond sharp. There's such a fine angle difference between that angle that drives in and does real good. That's got that whole thing basically is a bulb of percussion. This is a messed up, man. I don't know what kind of hammer that guy was using. Almost looks like he was hitting with steel. It's almost like I've got a concert going on. I guess it would be wrong to go over and ask him, does he have any country music? My problem is, since I'm a geezer, I don't recognize any of the new stuff. Nor do I prefer it. A lot of this obsidian, it gets folds and stuff in it where it was, you know, flowing. On the smaller cobbles. That doesn't bother me because I guess a lot of people just like big monolithic stuff that's perfect inside, and I understand that, but I don't mind the trickiness. Part of the fun. Now what happened on my finger is the other day I was hitting, and I think I tried one of my little tricky support issues and at the same time did an oblique hit, and it probably was, I was still in the early stages of reducing on this piece, so it was probably kind of a hard hit too, and I think probably just the direction and the hardness of the hit made the thing, and the lack of pushing. I guess I wasn't pushing much on the support, but it just flipped down and across and got me. I don't know if you saw that, but I went back to here and hinged it, and I came over here and cut the hinge off. I do that kind of stuff quite a bit. I know a lot of times on those longer run flakes that it isn't going to make it the whole way. But if it's doing what I want it to do, a lot of times I'll hit it anyway and then try and clean it up. One of the problems that I have when I do this kind of work is that I don't usually do it. So what tends to happen is I tend to get carried away with it and forget that all I'm trying to do is do a partial reduction. Before I know it, it's like I'm bifacing to make a point when that wasn't the goal. There's the bulb. Part of the bulb gone. Y'all, I still think that a major problem that I think a lot of people who haven't napped a bunch have is that they do not realize how much they need to abrade. I think a lot of people under abrade. Even on obsidian. Now you might think, well, obsidian's not very hard, so you don't want to over abrade it. Well, no, that's kind of not exactly correct, because since obsidian is soft, your platforms are more likely to fail if you under abrade. Now granted, you know, if you get them too stout, you know, you may have a problem with blowing stuff up when you hit it, but the opposite is also true. That flake ran, that was an overshot. I don't know if you can see that, but it ran all the way from there, all the way down here, and all the way down here, and stopped and got lunch somewhere in the middle and came down here. Crazy. The wave flakes love edges and love sharp ridges. Wow, this has got all kinds of cracks in it. This is one of those that should not have gotten in the bucket at all. Just kind of tossed in there as filler, I guess. Whoa. I don't know if I can salvage anything from this or not. I'm always ambivalent on stuff like this. Boy, that's that pure purple plum crap though, the jelly type stuff. Maybe if y'all can hear that music, somebody can, if I post this, somebody can do a comment and tell me whether or not that person has good taste or not, because I know it ain't my kind of stuff. See all those cracks and craziness in there? A lot of times that stuff is real hard to flake through. I'm gonna leave it till later. Oh man. I hate seeing those big old, all the big stresses on a good rock. When you're flaking obsidian, you get little pieces all over the place. You need to stand up every once in a while and brush yourself off and try and get the stuff off of you. And see, this is where it can flip back and get this other hand, so. That's pretty stuff. I feel almost guilty about having bald rainbow. Like it ought to be sawed or something, but I've got one big old block of it. Okay, I think I might actually recognize the song that's playing right now. And if I recognize it, that means it must be a super hit or something, because I probably heard it on TV or something a million times. Or in commercials. I'm probably showing my ignorance, aren't I? I just realized that. I'm just jacking with y'all. I know exactly what all that music is. Oh yeah. It's happening stuff, I know. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see. Of course, the angles are different for you than for me. I got a jelly purple thing going here. Jelly purple. You can see that, I'm sure. It's nice. What the heck is this crap? A twisted flake. It's twisted. There is no point in this. I don't want to deal with that. What is this? I guess maybe he thought I was going to make some earrings. That's got a real deep one of them worm cracks or whatever the heck those things are in it. What time is it? Is this off? Battery die or something? No. Okay, I'm stopping.